Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Multiverse Dungeon Podcast, where no topic is off limits for discussion. Tonight, we're going to be talking about movies, something we haven't really had the chance to talk about. But before, of course, we talk about our favorite movies coming out, we're going to backtrack and talk about our favorite movies of all time. So I'm going to start it off with Barry. Barry, why don't you tell us about some of your favorite movies of all time?
I can have to pause here, buddy. Okay. So, uh, you can see out of my collection I got here of movies, my own such movies. I would have to say my all-time favorite is tough. Of all time.
You can give us your top five like we did with the bands, if you want to do it that way, if that's easier for you.
Yeah, I'll do one in each genre, I guess.
If you would like to do that.
Out of action, I would have to go with Spider-Man, and the one Tobey Maguire starred in, because I have not watched any of the remakes, and I refuse to.
I was forced to watch the first one, and I hated every minute of it. The first of the remakes.
I just want to add, fuck Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, alright, we have a group consensus on that film.
Comedy, that's tough, because I'm a huge comedy guy. I would have to say of all time right now I can think of. Can I do ties? Does that count?
Sure.
Ties?
Sure, we're not really structured today. We're just talking about movies.
Yeah, and there's really no system for this at all.
Alright, so I'm going to remove that so I can see better. I'm going to have to go with Spaceballs.
Oh, that's a good one.
Amazing movie.
And The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski, that's another good one.
Love There's a Big Lebowski convention somewhere. I don't remember where it is.
There's conventions for everything. There's Mad Max conventions. There's going to be a Fallout convention.
I'm going to make a power armor suit.
I would love to, especially for that Box Wars.
I guess drama I would have to go with, I guess. Was it considered drama? I don't know if it's really... Well, it's another tie. Supposedly this isn't a drama category. I don't know if it's true, though. I have it set up. It's a tie between Pulp Fiction and Scarface.
Okay.
Pulp Fiction is like an action drama kind of.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
It's like it's kind of drama because it's got stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just an action movie. I mean, you could say pretty much any Tarantino movie is kind of a drama movie. Except Death Proof.
Alright, then horror. As far as you picked me to go with this one first, that's why.
I picked you because we usually go with Mike or me first.
I'm gonna have to go. A lot of horror movies. I'm gonna go with House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Okay. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I heard they're coming out with another movie.
I haven't heard.
It's hard to say with really anything that Rob Zombie does, because for the longest time he said he was doing this Tyrannosaurus Rex movie, and it didn't happen. This movie that he just did called 31 didn't even come out in theaters. It was like a Netflix, which was like a Netflix exclusive, like / straight to DVD kind of thing. So nobody really knows what he's working on now, with whether it's true that he's doing sequels again. Like, 'cause the only sequel he ever did was for his Halloween. So.
And that was horrible.
Well, 2 was horrible. 1 was great.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I liked the first one, but I didn't at the same time.
I liked the first one a lot. I didn't care for the second one at all.
The only reason I love the first one so much is because, unlike the original, we got a lot of backstory, which I was happy.
Yes.
I like that idea, that we got to see how Michael Myers was
made
as a child and why he decided to kill.
Do I have that version? No, I don't. I gotta get that version. Thank you for letting me know that. Because now I gotta buy that.
Yeah, there you go.
But, uh, my guess for my fifth category, I'm gonna go with anime.
Okay.
And my favorite movie out of anime or cartoon. This is a tie for me.
Another tie.
Again.
Barry loves a lot of movies.
Yes, I do.
He doesn't.
I'm gonna go with Beavis and Butthead Do America, and then I'm gonna go with How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that one.
That is a good movie.
All right,
So
Mike.
those are
We'll
my
swing it over to
favorite
you. Give us a
categories.
rundown of some of your favorite movies of all time.
Well, I'm not gonna be able to rank them because there's just so many.
There's no one in each category like I did.
Or just shoot them out as they come to you.
I couldn't even do that. I mean, I really thought about it. Like, my favorite movie ever is The Departed.
Okay.
I love that movie. I saw that movie with my grandmother, and I loved every minute of it. Matt Damon was in it. Jack Nicholson was in it. Mark Wahlberg was in it. It's just such a good movie that I just grew to love it more than any other movie.
Me too. I don't know if I have that one either. Fuck me. Dragon. Shit.
The Godfather, the first one,
Mhm.
love the first one. The second one is good, and the third one is garbage.
Okay.
But
I haven't
First
seen
one.
any of them.
first one is amazing. Well,
I'm with Barry on this one. I haven't seen any of the Godfathers.
you guys are missing out.
It must be an Italian thing.
Hey, Hicks is Italian.
I'm a mutt.
Technically, I'm quarter Italian.
Like 8% Italian. He's Italian.
More like 25.
Okay.
I'm just a pure mutt, so I can't really say.
I'm 50% Italian. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just love the movie.
No, the dude just loves marinara.
Yeah, exactly. But no, if I were to recommend any of them, I would recommend 1 and 2, and just completely skip 3. Like, don't even care about 3.
Okay.
3 is just a piece of shit.
Harsh.
It is though. Everybody will tell you that.
Okay. I will take your word for it.
Shocked by his language, aren't you?
You're upsetting the Pikachu, Mike.
Oh no, he's alright. He's the worst.
He's okay. He's seen some things. He's still alive.
Right?
He's okay.
I'll tell you about that.
Alright, so you got The Godfather, you got Departed. What else you got for us today? And then I'll run.
I love Spaceballs as well. That's one of my favorites. Pineapple Express. This Is the End. Super Bad. Pretty much anything with Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of him either. Except the Green Hornet is my favorite of his.
Well, every actor has that one movie.
I love that movie.
It's a good movie. It's like on the bottom of my
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Ah,
Um,
I don't know you right now. Disappointed in that. It's one of my favorite Seth Rogen movies.
That's one of your favorites. That's funny. Okay.
This is
Also-
different. It's because it actually wasn't a book.
As far as animated movies go, like I love pretty much all the Pixar movies. Toy Story is like one of the first movies I can remember seeing as a child. I think that was the first movie I ever went to see in theaters.
Okay.
And that came out when we were like 5 years old. So it's
I used to have the original Woody and Buzz Lightyear. Burger
Yes.
King special right size.
awesome.
That's none of the.
A very underrated movie. Not a lot of people talk about this movie. It's called Lucky Number 11.
Oh yeah.
I love that movie too. I remember seeing. I also saw that movie with my grandmother. Me and my grandmother used to like make it a mission to see like movies like that. Like I saw The Departed with her, The Lucky Number 11. I think I saw American Gangster with her. Like movies like that, we used to go all the time and go to the diner by the house. Um, yeah, I mean, I pretty much love everything. Like I'll give everything a chance. Like I'm like the person who finds a random movie on Netflix that nobody's heard of, and then loves it and shows it to other people, and they end up loving it. So I enjoy that.
I don't go too crazy about B films, but the only thing, like, I'll give something like a chance if it looks really good, it sounds good.
I will say that some of the best movies that you haven't heard of are like independent films that are really good. Like there are a lot of independent films that are very underrated. So that's just an idea of some of the movies I like. Like I said, I couldn't rank them if I really wanted. That would take too long.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, I love everything. I love also like Freddy Krueger movies, Friday the 13th movies. I like the first 3 Friday the 13th movies.
That's what, 7 now, I think?
There's like 9 of them.
In space.
Well, I mean, if you count
Jason X.
Freddy versus Jason, I mean.
That's the one I'm surprised they never followed up on, was Freddy versus Jason.
It's not. It's a comedy. It's not really horror.
Well,
it's a comedy.
That's like a cult movie. Like you. I think that's like one of those movies that you just don't follow up on.
I'm just saying because we got like 4 Leprechaun movies. The most they could do is give us a sequel to Freddy versus Jason. 6. See, all right.
Movies.
That's such an obscure title. Has 6 movies.
There's 6 Leprechaun movies, and one of them had Ice-T in it.
Yeah, because that was Leprechaun in the Hood.
Jennifer Aniston in it.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
I think that was the same one she was in, right?
I don't know.
I think so. No, Jennifer Aniston was in the very first one.
Yeah, okay.
But
She is one.
Yeah. I mean, there was rumors for a long time that there was going to be a follow-up, and it was also going to include Michael Myers.
Yes.
That ended up, I think, being turned into a comic instead of a movie.
Well, give us a movie adaptation of it then.
I think they did like Freddy versus Jason versus Ash also from Evil Dead.
That would have been awesome to see on camera too.
Or it was like, I think it was like Jason versus Michael Myers versus Ash, or some obscure combination. I don't know if Freddy was involved in all of them, but I know they did some comic books.
Okay.
But anyway, Hicks, tell us about some of your favorites.
I'm going to start off with the one that I'm surprised nobody here talked about, Barry especially, but the Jurassic Park franchise.
It's good. It's in the action genre, and nothing beats Spider-Man for me.
I'm just saying because you play the game all the time, the mobile app.
See, for me, I didn't get to say. I just wanted to add, comic book movies are a whole nother level.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that sort of later.
We'll go to Jurassic Park, all right?
We'll get into Marvel sort of later. Yeah,
Not
Jurassic
sort
Park.
of. Not sort
of. The first one was awesome. The second one was okay. Like, a lot of people give that movie a lot of hate, but I liked it. The third one was garbage. And the new one, which kind of rebooted, I think it just takes place after 1 and 2. I think they kind of cut 3 out of the picture, was Jurassic World, and that was amazing.
Yeah, I liked World. I was very happy with it.
Yeah. If we're going to go science fiction-y, I'm a big fan of the Alien movies. In fact, there's a new one coming out, which I'll bring up in the conversation later. I first saw, Aliens, which was the second one. Then I went back to watch the first one. The other ones after that kind of get a little weird. Like Rebirth. Yeah.
The AVR movies were okay. Alien versus Predator. I mean.
Yeah, the Alien versus Predator movies were pretty cool. Requiem was the best one so far, out of those 2.
Yeah. I thought that, I mean, as far as, like, the Aliens movies goes, like, I think I like 1 and 2,
Yeah,
but, then, like, some of the other ones were, like, kind of eh,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
and then you had Alien versus Predator, and then you had, like, like you said, Alien versus Predator Requiem or whatever it was.
hmm To me, that was the better of
So,
the two versus films. Um, for comedy, I'm a big Adam Sandler buff, so like most of the movies that he comes out with, I love.
oh yeah, me too.
In these
Very.
days, Natalie's
Well, I
depressing.
mean, all right. Let's say I'm just gonna say this. Everything after Click, kind of hit or miss.
Eh, yeah, I enjoyed
And
Click.
well, I'm saying everything after Click,
Okay.
kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like he had some good ones. Like That's My Boy, I thought was hilarious.
Okay.
Jack and Jill, complete garbage.
Both of those films you named, I haven't had the chance to watch.
Well, don't bother with Jack and Jill.
After, like, I think I saw Funny People,
hmm
it just got really depressing.
I like that one because it was more
I really liked
serious.
that one because it was a mixture of comedy and drama. And
Yeah.
It was like, because he
It's
had
like
done
he's
some.
trying to accept that someone needs to take his place, and that he's not going to be doing it anymore. And it's just
I
like,
know it's got that
like
realism, that
childhood.
real life shit in
Yeah,
there.
it felt real. That was the thing. Like,
Thank
I
you.
mean, that there was like, and like all the celebrity cameos were like made the movie better,
hmm
in my opinion. Like, and I think that's actually one of his underrated, like, newer ones.
hmm
I mean, it's not his best film, obviously, not even close, but it's one of the best films he's done in the last 6 years,
Yeah.
I'll say.
Well, that came out when we were graduating.
2012.
Oh, was that early? I thought it was earlier than that.
I'm pretty sure Funny People was 2012.
Some of my favorite Adam Sandler
Here's the
movies.
corner.
Like to me, I love Happy Gilmore. That was a great one. The Wedding Singer was great. 51st Dates was great. There's
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. Yeah, The Water Boy. Like I said, I just for that.
Can't go wrong with anything before Click is hilarious.
Yeah, of course, I'll give you that.
Well, I mean, except for Spanglish.
2009.
2009.
1 year off. 1 year off.
Okay. I'm gonna skip now to drama. You guys might not have seen this movie, but for drama, I'm gonna give it to The Hunt for Red October. It had Sean Connery and I'm guessing Mike knows more about it than I thought.
I wasn't laughing about the movie. I was laughing about when Family Guy was doing the Star Wars.
Right. Red October standing by. But that starred Sean Connery. That had Sean Connery and Alec Baldwin in it, and that was a really good one. Essentially, a Russian nuclear sub is planning to defect to the United States, but the Russian government tells us that they're on an attack mission, so we're trying to blow them up, but we don't really know they want to switch sides, and that's where the drama comes in. When do they actually get to meet up and discuss peace terms? So that was a really good movie. What am I missing? I did comedy, I did sci-fi, I did action, I did drama. Animated. The first animated movie I ever saw in theaters was probably Titan AE. That was really good.
I remember.
The most recent cartoon movie I've seen in theaters was probably Finding Dory. I took Jace to go see that one. That was really cool.
That's actually like one of the only Pixar movie I haven't seen recently.
It was good.
Yeah. I wanted to go see that.
I still have to see that one. It's actually on Netflix, so I'm gonna get around to it.
I was just saying, even if not, I bought that for my mom for Christmas on DVD, so when you come over, I could throw it on too.
I'm watching that shit tonight then. Fuck.
There you go. Look at this. Everybody's gonna watch Finding Dory.
It's. I mean, it's just from the trailers alone, you can tell it's a great follow.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good.
I mean, Finding Nemo, the the difference in like years since Finding Nemo is so weird that they would do a sequel so later on. Like, so I mean, if you look at the Toy Story sequels, Toy Story 1 came out in '95, Toy Story 2 came out in '99, and then Toy Story 3, that was like a big gap also.
Yeah.
But usually with like all these movies getting sequels, you never wait that long,
Yeah.
especially with these kinds of movies.
Since you guys have yet to see the movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but it has one great cameo in the movie. I'm not going to tell you who it is because you guys plan on watching it maybe tonight, maybe a week from now, but there's a great cameo in the film.
I'm gonna watch it this week.
All right, then. There you go. Barry, am I missing any categories? I think I named 5 categories.
You got 5, yeah.
All right.
Well, I got this one scene stuck in my head, though, from mentioning Family Guy. When Chris was going towards the center of the Death Star, he's like, "Poor kids, cover me." And it's the fat guy on the fucking X-Wing. He's like, "I'm having trouble." Fucking crashes.
I mean, going off of that, I mean, we didn't talk about Star Wars that much. I think we all love Star Wars in our own way, right?
I didn't think that needed to be discussed. I thought that was just globally known as a great film franchise, but if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it.
We talked about it, though. Star Wars is a great franchise.
Mm-hmm. Right, I just figured that was something everybody knew. Like,
I thought about getting a custom lightsaber soon.
oh.
I think most people agree that Empire is the best.
Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, people go there. I mean, a lot of people think. I mean, people argue that New Hope is also up there. Like, I mean, if you were to rank them, honestly, like, for me, it would be like 5, 4, 6.
Okay.
Not even going to talk about the prequels because the prequels are garbage.
No, that's yeah. We don't have to. What did you think about Force Awakens?
I like them all, but 5 would be my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody loves 5. I mean,
but I like 3 also.
For me, 3 had its moments. It was like,
yeah.
Alright, it's like, alright, this is the birth of Darth Vader. We get it.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I didn't love the prequels.
Did you guys get the chance to watch Rogue One? I didn't get to see that yet, but
I didn't.
I saw it.
I'm gonna get on.
If I could, without spoiling anything, the only thing I would say
la.
no, nothing about the plot or anything. The only thing I'll say is don't see it if you don't want to see a movie that has no Jedi.
okay.
Well, I already expected that. That's why I wasn't too keen on it.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. I just want to see it and get to know what it's about. Force Awakens. What did you guys think of that one?
I love that movie. I think that they did a good job for what they were working with. I mean, I was one of the people who wished they had gone by the books.
Yeah.
More, but with the results that we got, I was completely okay with.
Barry, give me your thoughts because I know you're itching to say something.
I give it 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
So I didn't really go with the book, and they took that certain route. It was disappointing.
Okay.
Well, that's because Disney does nothing by the book.
Yeah, they threw out everything that was already canon, all the books and all that.
I mean, look at anything that Disney has ever done. If you look at the original, of Alice in Wonderland or stuff like that, there is some dark stuff in there.
Of course.
I wish they would.
Like,
You're reading this book as a kid, and then you go to see it as an adult, and you're like,
that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
the fuck?
well, because Disney's never gonna go that way. Like, that's why, anything that they put on, ABC, there's no nudity. Or even the slightest hint of nudity.
Right.
Or, because anything that you put on ABC is Disney's gonna be like, oh no, we don't want that. That's why I think that, segueing into what we're gonna talk about a little later, the Marvel Netflix shows are amazing.
Okay.
Because if those were on ABC, they would be garbage.
Yeah. I mean, we could already segue into Marvel if you guys are done talking about Star Wars, since they're both now Disney-owned companies.
Well, I mean, it's all Disney related, but
Yeah.
I think we
The
can
only
all
thing I
agree.
want to say about Star Wars, though, is that they need to remake Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes. That was one of my. We didn't
It's
get.
the best game I've ever played.
And I didn't even get this. We didn't even. We
For a Star Wars
totally under
franchise.
the radar for last episode when we were talking about video games. But yes, that game was absolutely amazing.
It's one of the best Star Wars games ever played.
Yes.
Nothing will and never will top that game.
Right. The first one was better than the second one. I don't know if you had the chance to play both, but I like the first one way more than the second one.
To be honest, I was trying to do so much in the first one that I was playing it for maybe almost done. So, yeah, they need to remake that game, or even better yet, make it into a movie. Because I don't know about you guys, like I know we got a lot more coming up for what Disney has to offer of the continuation of the original Star Wars saga, but I'd just rather see something different.
Disney is going to milk Star Wars for all that they can, because ever since they got the rights to it, they have every other year, like every year a movie's coming out, but like this year we got episode 8 coming out, then following year another spin-off, then following year episode 9, then following year another spin-off. So we already got a Star Wars movie for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So who knows what they're gonna do after that? I mean, they're not gonna kill it, obviously, because like
Well,
you said, they would do nothing wrong.
Too much money.
Like we said earlier, though, Disney's kind of been picking and choosing what's canon and what's not. But who's to say that they can't maybe take a storyline or a character from one of the games that was very popular and include it that way somehow, like Malik or Revan from Knights of the Old Republic, or any of the other characters who have been previously named in a Star Wars video game.
Who knows? Like we've been saying, like Disney will pick and choose what they do, and it's really hard to say what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
In pretty much anything in Star Wars. All we know is that Rey is a Jedi.
Yeah, Rey's a Jedi. Where she comes from, we don't know. Who Snoke is, we have no idea yet. There's a lot of theories surrounding him. There's a lot of theories surrounding Rey, but we'll never know what's right until we see the next movie.
And for unfortunate reasons, Episode 8 is Leia's last film.
Yeah, due to most in part of what happened in real life. I mean, they're not going to recast her.
No, they're not. I mean, a lot of people thought they were gonna like do a CGI type thing because they did that for a character in Rogue One. Peter Weller's character.
Okay.
He was complete CGI, and they just put his face and his voice in there, and it was like he was in the movie.
Okay.
So people thought they were gonna possibly do that, but I don't think it's. I think they already confirmed that after Episode 8, they're not even gonna use Leia anymore.
Well. So does that mean they're gonna kill her off somehow in 8?
That hasn't been discovered, but I mean, I would think so. I would think so. I mean, Han's dead. What better way to like really try to make
yourself into the dark side for Kylo Ren when you kill off your family.
Yeah, like really make Kylo Ren like really bad by killing both of his parents.
A lot of people don't like Kylo Ren because they view him as like this whiny little character. They don't see him as the big threat that Darth Vader
He
was.
wants to be
nothing compared to the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to be Darth Vader, and he doesn't think that he'll ever live up to his grandfather's
Legacy
that he had as the leader. He doesn't see the things that he's doing as being on par with what Darth Vader did, and he kind of is a bitch.
Yeah.
By getting angry, you throw a child tantrum and wave your lightsaber around.
Yeah, I mean, Darth Vader would never throw a tantrum, he would just kill people.
He would force choke you if he was mad at you.
Think outside the box of what he can do next.
Yeah,
The character difference compared to the movie I broke almost completely.
Well, the difference between Vader and Kylo Ren is Kylo Ren has more drama to the character. That's really the only difference.
Oh no, I'm just saying from books compared to the movie.
I completely understand that. I mean, like we said before, Disney's never gonna go that way. Ever.
Disney's are assholes.
But I think in a future episode we will probably spend a lot more time talking about Star Wars.
The universe is so vast, we could spend a whole hour talking about Star Wars if we really wanted to.
That's what I'm saying. So we're not gonna talk too much about it in this episode. We're gonna move on to what we plan to talk about this week mostly, and that is Marvel. Marvel Cinematic Universe, Fox Films, Sony, whatever you want to say. Marvel has been big in the film industry ever since the late 90s. And they're not quitting anytime soon, that's for sure.
No, they have plans past Infinity Wars.
Many reboots it'll take to get one of them right. It won't stop.
As far as like the Fox movies go, we don't need to talk about any of Fantastic Four because they're all garbage.
I had so much hopes for the new series, the new reboots.
Logan looks amazing.
Yes.
As much as I loathed whatchamacallit,
X-Men Origins Wolverine?
No, not that. The last one.
Oh, the
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. I thought you were just going on the standalone films for.
No,
okay.
no. I'm going just X-Men in general. Apocalypse was not good at all.
Again, I didn't get the chance to go and see that one in the theaters, but I heard a lot of people say that, for whatever line, it seems to be the third X-Men movie is always the worst.
It was very underwhelming because you go in expecting it to be so good because First Class was good, and Days of Future Past was amazing.
Yeah.
Going off of that, going into the third one, you just expect it, like, oh, okay, they're finally doing Apocalypse, and the guy who has been behind the X-Men series from the beginning, except for number 3, Bryan Singer, who always seems to make a good X-Men film, just, I think, went into this film and didn't do it justice the way we thought he would. Apocalypse was kind of a bitch, and Apocalypse is not a bitch. He really didn't do anything the entire film. The 4 horsemen were doing everything, and Storm is not a horseman. Never was, never has been. So that was kind of odd. I thought it was cool that they included Psylocke, because I was hoping to see that character, but again, kind of underwhelming. She didn't really do anything. It was kind of all Archangel, and he died. The only cool character died. So, unfortunately, the way that Charles lost his hair, the way that everything happened in this film, kind of underwhelming. The only thing I could say that I loved was that we got to see Wolverine escape Alkali Lake again. And they did it correctly.
They did it correctly. It only took how many years to do it.
Other than that, going off of that, I'm very excited for Logan because they're finally introducing X-23. Supposedly X-23 is going to take over for Hugh Jackman, who is finally calling it a career as Wolverine. He's been playing Wolverine for 18 years now. So, I guess it was about time for him to call it a career playing Wolverine. But I'm very excited for this movie. the Wolverine, the last Wolverine standalone film was great. It definitely made up for X-Men Origins.
Understatement.
So I'm hoping that this movie makes up for Apocalypse.
Okay, I mean, right now the trailers, they look awesome. I mean, there's nothing.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm very excited for X-23 just knowing that is she is Wolverine's clone and she is badass. And in the movie she's what, 12, and she's killing everyone and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, later on, I haven't read it. I've only heard it that she does become Wolverine in the comics. So I think that's the route they're going.
Spot.
It seems that's where they're going, and because they're gonna do New Mutants, they're gonna do, they're gonna be doing a lot going forward, and they're eventually gonna introduce Sinister, which I'm excited about. They teased that at the end of Apocalypse. Sinister is easily my favorite X-Men villain. I always wanted to see him in the films. They teased that his lab is responsible for X-23 and all that. So I'm excited about that. As far as other Marvel movies go this year, in the Marvel universe, completely separate from X-Men because of copyright ownership and shit like that.
Stupid.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Marvel went bankrupt in what was it, 1999, and they had to sell Spider-Man and X-Men and Fantastic Four, the three most popular runs in Marvel ever, to not go bankrupt.
Yeah, unfortunately, they haven't been doing all that well with the other companies now. Fox, they haven't really done that well.
Fox, I mean, they hit a home run with Deadpool. They completely struck out with Apocalypse. So last year they went 50-50 last year.
Yep.
But this year, as far as Marvel goes, we have 3 movies coming out. We have Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I'm very excited about.
Me too.
We have the Spider-Man reboot.
Reboots. No mother.
Well,
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Also, I mean, at least he's already established, and he's been Spider-Man for 6 months as far as Civil War goes.
Yeah, we don't need to watch Ben die again.
Yeah, we'll probably see it in a flashback. But either way, and we also have Thor.
Ragnarok.
Actually, I want to give hope for this Spider-Man, but because
I am going in very high hopes.
I think that this will be good just because we won't have the same people making the same mistakes. Like, the first trilogy, which was, started great and went downhill. Then we had the 2 movies that came out with the Amazing Spider-Man run, which were both felt completely underwhelming and overrushed. So we get a brand new start for Spider-Man in Spider-Man Homecoming. He's finally coming home.
The Amazing series had, a list of issues, but the 2 big ones were they never closed any of the problems from 1. They had 3 different arcs going on in one film, and didn't even acknowledge any of them.
Right.
In the second one.
Like I said, underwhelming and overrushed. It didn't come together.
Just the way that they some of the casting decisions just didn't work. Also, as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing against Jamie Foxx.
He's horrible. I don't care. I'll say it. He's horrible.
He's
a horrible person.
No. Jamie Foxx is not a bad person. He's just not Electro.
Well, I'll save that debate another time. Based off his certain quotes he played in certain movies that he... Yeah, I'm not going to go into it right now on this podcast.
But we don't need to go back and look at the previous Spider-Mans. We get to look at a brand new Spider-Man run. And that, for me, is exciting.
The thing is, I'm happy with this one that they announced the Vulture as his main enemy. And that was originally issue number 1 villain.
Yes, exactly. This is why I'm very excited for this movie for that. For one of the that is one of the main reasons. You get a new villain that we've never seen before in film, and he's being played by an actor who is amazing. Michael Keaton, amazing.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's a great actor for any role.
One could say that he kind of went full circle. I mean, because I had this conversation with somebody else, but I mean, he was a great Batman. Probably one of the best Batmans in film. And then he went into that Birdman movie. That Birdman movie set him up for this.
And let's not forget Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah. But Beetlejuice is completely different to this. I mean, that Birdman movie, then going into this, just that alone is just the irony of that is amazing.
Well, like I said, we already named the Vulture, but what other villains would you guys like to finally see in a Spider-Man movie? I know I would love to see Carnage.
Well, a lot of people say that.
Because he's a popular icon for
I'm very hesitant about that because
you have to do it right.
Right.
You have to do it. Yeah, exactly.
You have to set it up right, or it will not work.
Right.
I don't know this for a fact, obviously, but I think the best way to do it would be to have like something going on where they have like a jailbreak or something, and Cletus Cassidy is like part of the jailbreak, and they tease that he's there, and then in a later film, he discovers the symbiote and starts a mass murder spree.
The only thing that's going to work and play it up to that is that Venom has to be established as well first.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That has to be established, because then if to follow the storyline, it's not going to work. It's just like, oh, he was the first to come across with a symbiote with Peter Parker, then technically he's Venom.
And we know that movie companies sometimes like to rush things and that they don't like to go by the story because they want to set up their own story.
The whole thing was with, I'm just going to take a rewind. With the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. They were actually leading it up, right? Leaving it as a back scene for Venom. But the problem was they rushed it towards the end that he was somehow this force that was reckoned with, but at the same time so easily weakened.
Right.
So the whole thing with that is that you have to leave those characters in the background for later on development. You can't rush them as towards the end of the movie as being the main villain.
Not to mention,
it's going to completely fail.
I think what they should have did was they should have established Eddie Brock's presence in 2. And not used him as a main character right away. Just have him in the background of 2. And then when 3 comes around, he's around for a little while. He's more well known at the Daily Bugle, and he was, but he doesn't have to be this arrogant guy. And they could have done it right, and they just didn't. So I mean, if this partnership with Marvel works out in the long run, then Sony's never going to give it up. They're just going to share. They're never going to give it up because there's too much money there.
Yeah, but they keep doing it badly. It's going to end up being like that Superman...
Well, that's why I have high hopes for this one, because Marvel is involved.
I'm just going to say one more thing about Venom before we switch topics. I just think that he was too scrawny. Did anybody else feel that way? Like,
well, originally he was. It took him time to get stronger and form a stronger bond with the symbiote, because it didn't happen right away. He was originally scrawny.
Okay.
But when he first faced him, he was not as strong. He was maybe as fast, maybe just as strong as Spider-Man, but since he lost and he went into jail and he was separated, he gained stronger on his own in jail.
Right.
Yes.
He had pure anger and vengeance on his mind, so he worked off his ass to become this monster in jail.
Okay.
And then by the time the symbiote came around, he amplified that with him and became that fucking huge beast. That
I was gonna
we
say,
all
because
know.
like to do Venom correctly, you need someone like Brock Lesnar's size. Like not necessarily Brock Lesnar, because we all have negative thoughts about him to begin with, but
Well,
like
I mean,
his body
if
sculpt.
if you were to play the right villain, I wouldn't care.
Okay.
Not gonna lie. If you were to play the right villain, I'd be completely okay with it. It depends on who it is, honestly. I mean, but
To be honest, a villain I would like to see though. Not many people read in depth as the comics like I did. I would love to see the Tarantula.
The Tarantula. Okay.
The Tarantula was a kind of like a secret government project, like for Captain America, but in South America. And they came across this person who was like militarized, strong, like him, very agile, very quick and strong, who they were experimenting on, and one of the serums worked, kind of like Captain America. But the thing was, he didn't become like super strong. He came like really fucking fast,
Okay.
like Spider-Man. So they were always at combat. But the thing was, this guy had like the same sarcastic attitude with Spider-Man. So it was hilarious mid-fighting conversations going on.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were fastest of America, Spider-Man. If you do nothing, you were like on, it's this fucking strange analogy to come up with. It was just a hilarious kick in the ass.
Alright, I got you.
As far as like villains that we've never seen before, one of my favorites that I would like to see is Kraven the Hunter.
Okay.
I think he would be a really cool villain to see.
And you can star us in. I mean, you got the...
I just need to like do like an Eddie Guerrero kind of look, and I would get it.
Yeah.
And me a little for
Yeah.
Tiger.
Yeah, but that was always one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. Another one that's like very underrated, probably won't see it, but I just always thought it was a cool character, was the Spot.
The Spot?
Yeah, the Spot. The Spot is so... I don't know why, I just always like the Spot. He's like one of those people that like he can travel between dimensions. Like he uses like his costume. Like he's got spots all over him, and he can just grab them and use them as like portals. And
No
shit.
way.
It's funny. It's a funny character. It's I don't think we'll ever see that,
No,
unfortunately.
you're probably never gonna see that one. But I mean, as far as villains that we could see, I would love to see Hammerhead or the Chameleon.
Okay.
Also. Those guys would be interesting to see.
Comic book issue number 2.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Chameleon, I think they were actually debating it at one time. But
Well,
the
I think they were
problem was
trying to get their
their
own
hand was
reason,
still not
so.
building on it.
I remember.
It's like,
I remember people saying that they were trying to get there, possibly in Amazing, which again didn't really care for Amazing at all. So I don't know. I know for a fact that this movie has Vulture and Shocker in it. Shocker's another one that I've wanted to see, and I think they're gonna do it okay. I
I just don't want rushed villains. I just don't want rushed villains.
Well, we'll see who has more of the writing. If it's more Marvel than Sony, I think we're okay. But if it's Sony writing, because we've seen how that's paid off.
Well, as far as that goes, I think what they did with Spider-Man, like they used him as like a preview in Civil War.
Yeah.
And I was 100% okay with what they did.
And everybody
So,
was excited. Everybody was they had enough of Spider-Man in Civil War where it was enough of a tease.
yeah, it was enough where you were like, okay, I'm ready for this movie
It was like, it was like everybody gets one.
now. Yeah, exactly.
He just showed
I
up, he said what he needed to say, and he left.
don't know if you guys would agree or disagree, though, that Spider-Man's one of those characters that's better off in a series, like on Netflix or Hulu. I would be more happier with that than
I think
movies.
he could have worked the in that universe. I mean, I don't know why they don't include those heroes in the films also. Because I feel like every character that has a Netflix show right now should be a show. Um, I feel like those darker characters, like Daredevil, like the Punisher, who's getting a show. Um, I feel like Ghost Rider would fit in that category also. Even
Yeah, because
Like Iron Fist, Luke Cage, all these guys, they should have a show.
I'm excited for the
Because
Iron Fist one. I really am.
oh yes, I am as well. I am hoping that it's done good and it's done great because Luke Cage wasn't amazing. As much as like Daredevil season 1 was amazing, Jessica Jones season 1 was amazing, Daredevil season 2 was kind of bleh, and Luke Cage was just.
It seems like in season 2 of Daredevil they rushed a little bit.
Oh yeah, well, season 2 of Daredevil was rushed, and also they lost the guy who did season 1. So
So you had different pacing for season 2, and you had yeah.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
But I feel like Spider-Man should be in that universe for Kingpin alone.
Because
Yeah.
not even. I'm just gonna touch on the subject with Spider-Man. It is a lot more darker than the movies make it out to be. It is, I believe, because I read the Daredevil series also for that. Spider-Man is more darker than Daredevil. It is almost as dark, believe it or not, as the Punisher at times.
Okay.
One storyline I would love to see is when he gets 6 arms.
Yeah.
That's a lot later on, though.
I know, but I would still love to see that.
I don't know. I just don't know how that would translate.
For 200 issues, it's pure dark of Spider-Man.
Okay.
You would never think it either, based off the cartoon shows and the movies that come out, but it is a lot more serious.
The animated series in the 90s was easily the best depiction of Spider-Man in animated form.
It missed out some things. It was close, but it was missing out things. The whole thing was
they weren't allowed to use like Sandman and stuff like that for some reason, because like there was a copyright going on back then. But like little things like that. But that show as a whole, it's like my favorite animated superhero show ever. I remember like loving that show as a kid and watching it again later, like watching it later on in life and loving it still. And I don't know if it is or not, but it used to be on Netflix and it isn't anymore.
I think Hulu brought it out.
But yeah, I hope that this Spider-Man is good. Like we said, they're starting off with the right villain. They're starting off at the right time. They're not. He's already established as Spider-Man. He has a relationship with Tony Stark. It's gonna, it's going in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. And the guy who's playing him, Tom Holland, I am on board with that. I like that they chose a younger actor. I thought Andrew Garfield was too old to be playing a teenager. He just didn't fit the role, in my opinion. I mean, he had the look. Yeah, he had the look, but it just wasn't right. I think this kid is going to be up there with Tobey.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Garfield had the look, but Tobey Maguire definitely had the attitude. I mean, it's...
He had the dramatic look of Spider-Man. He had the drama within Spider-Man, but he didn't have... Because Spider-Man was always reserved when he was Peter Parker. He was very quiet, low-key, very to himself. He was actually seriously depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
as
think
Spider-Man, he
this
felt
depiction-
of the cocky side come out, which Tobey Maguire didn't get done as well.
I think this depiction of Spider-Man is going to be the most spot on. I'm very excited about it.
I hope so.
I think the voice that he does as Peter Parker is perfect. The look he has is perfect for the age that he is, and where he is in life in the films. He's in high school. It all looks like it's working out in the way that we want it to look at the moment.
I agree.
So,
I definitely agree with you. But as excited as I am for Spider-Man, I'm definitely more excited for Thor Ragnarok.
oh yeah.
I hope they do that right. I'm worried about
This
that.
has two of my favorite Marvel heroes in one film. It's centered around Thor and the Hulk. And so I couldn't be happier.
The only thing was the original Ragnarok Hulk wasn't involved.
No, but because Hulk wasn't
the
involved
only
in Civil
reason-
War, they had to put him in Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's the only reason that Hulk is in this movie.
And you know what?
He
I'm
wants-
fine with it. Give Thor a fucking bodyguard like the Hulk. I don't care. I'm looking forward to
This
this.
is basically the substitution for Planet Hulk,
Yes, we're never gonna get a Planet
was-
Hulk film.
because that was an idea. Even
That
though,
was supposed to be happening during this time. He was in exile.
Right.
yeah, even though that probably wouldn't work that well because this Hulk doesn't really talk.
We
all.
already have Guardians of the Galaxy coming through on a spaceship. We don't need Hulk coming in with another army.
We've never had a Hulk movie where there was no Bruce Banner.
Right.
So, for them to go there, I think would be very hard. I feel like Bruce Banner, the character, apart from the Hulk, makes the movies better because you get that sciencey part of his character, and I don't want that. I'm not on board with the Planet Hulk.
I am, but I'll get into that later. And the reason also why the Bruce Banner and the Hulk work is it's like that Jekyll and Hyde. You know, you get the duality of the character. You get the monster versus the dude trying to contain the monster.
Thor and Hulk already have chemistry from the Avengers,
Right.
so it works out. They're kind of like frenemies kind of thing.
Frenemies.
So they already have the established dynamic there, and they're also going to include Doctor Strange in this film.
Yes.
So
I didn't get to see the Doctor Strange film.
I'm gonna get it this week, though. I've heard a lot of good things though about it, but the only thing is he's not that popular of a character.
Yeah.
Because I went into that movie blind. I knew nothing about Doctor Strange before seeing this movie, and I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
Okay, and that's pretty good for Marvel.
You have a very intense storyline, I guess you can say. It's a very straightforward one.
Yeah.
I'm not good at movies.
I mean, the way that they did it in the movie was not horrible. Like I said, I didn't hate the movie. I just didn't love the movie.
Right.
I'll just tell you a brief description of Doctor Strange, and then you can tell me if I'm close to the movie. Originally, Doctor Strange was an actual surgeon. He was a doctor.
He's an actual
He was
surgeon.
a very well-known
Very
surgeon.
arrogant.
Not arrogant, he was cocky because of how much he known and was able to do at such a young
As
age.
far as like getting Stephen Strange down, they got that. Like, they got that. I feel like where they kind of like missed the ball was that they made it too obvious that he like became a master right away. Like,
Okay. Yeah, it didn't. Okay, so we watched it.
that was the only thing that like it was kind of like Green Lantern in that sense.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't take a half hour to learn all your powers.
Yeah. Green Lantern's another character who would do well in a Netflix series, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Marvel.
We'll probably talk about DC another time.
Exactly.
DC, that's... Well, no, not fuck DC entirely. Just
On the DC side of
maybe
things,
not.
Green Lantern is one of my favorite superheroes. Just, but
I
like I
agree.
said, that's a conversation for a different time. Today we're talking
Yeah,
about
well,
Marvel.
hopefully
Well, no, I was just using that as an example. Like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie
Yes,
and the Doctor Strange movie,
I fell
not
parallels.
asleep.
not far apart.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Oh, oh,
but I hope Ragnarok is good because Thor 2 was just not good.
I haven't watched it yet.
Thor 2, it was another one of those cases where the villain was overshadowed by everything that was going on.
Yeah,
Malekith was completely pointless.
you were more interested in what was going on between Loki and Thor to even care about the main villain.
Exactly. And that is a problem. That is the problem that Marvel has had with most of their movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's either the villain isn't being focused on the way it should, or the villain that is doing amazingly dies.
Iron Man 3 is a great cause for that, where they just screwed up the villain.
Don't talk about that garbage.
I mean,
Didn't they do a special DVD feature
No,
that they
they
totally
did a
added
one-off.
in?
They did a one-off where they said that the Mandarin is real
right.
and that he is out there and that he was seeing what Ben Kingsley was doing, or whatever. But they never really you don't see him. You don't know who he is. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think they should go there because first of all, I don't think we're ever getting any more standalone Iron Man films. And if we do, Downey Jr. is not going to be in them.
Right. I mean, it's just like Marvel's not going away. It's just like Star Wars. We're gonna get a shit ton of films.
But as far as it goes, like now, like the plan. I mean, the plan has always been to get to Thanos.
Right. But we have no idea what they have planned after Thanos.
I mean, there was talk for the longest time that the Inhumans was going to be a movie,
Right.
and now it's going to be a show.
Okay.
I would love to see Michael Korvac.
That
You
would
guys
be
know who Michael Korvac is.
yes, I do know who that is.
I don't.
That would be
It's
interesting
easy
to see. I mean, they could easily tie that into what they're doing with Guardians and what they're doing with
Yeah.
Thanos. I mean, and they need, as far as like big bad villains go, a lot of the big name villains that the Avengers fight, Marvel doesn't have the rights to.
Right. And that's a problem.
I mean, they could do a Masters of Evil thing since they established Baron Zemo, or his son, technically. But they could do that. I just don't know who they would use in the team. So that would be interesting to see. I mean, because like I said, a lot of the big bad villains that they used in the Avengers either belong to Fox or belong to Sony, or mostly belong to Fox. Like, Kang the Conqueror, Fantastic Four villain first, so he belongs to Fox. Doctor Doom, obviously. A lot of them, you know. They faced a lot of X-Men villains. Magneto was one of the biggest Avenger villains. Can't use him. So, it's hard to say where they're going to go after Thanos. And it's coming. I mean, it's hard to really think about. Like, you think about it now, this universe that they're building started in 2008.
When we were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy to think of.
Just about to get out,
Graduating
yeah.
high school, and it's coming to like the culmination of everything when we're 29.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then where the hell are they gonna go after that?
Exactly. We don't know, but as far as we know, it's not ending.
I'm gonna.
I mean, we know that there's going to be an Ant-Man sequel.
Yes.
That's not happening until after Thanos.
As much as I enjoyed the first Ant-Man film, I hope the sequel is.
haven't
I hope the
watched
sequel is better.
Well, the sequel's gonna establish another villain. Obviously, we're gonna get Wasp as a hero.
Yeah.
I mean, I know as far as like the continuity of the Avengers go, it doesn't make any sense because she was in the original team.
Yep.
So was Ant-Man. Ant-Man was originally contemplated to be the first superhero movie that Marvel ever made, but they went with Iron Man because of popularity issues, obviously.
Well, and Iron Man wasn't even that popular back then. The only reason that he got popular was because of Downey Jr.
The funny thing is, though...
No, it wasn't because of that. It was because of the Ultimates, how they redid him.
Oh, that played a factor.
But the funny thing is, though, because Ant-Man was introduced so late in the cinematic film, they gave a lot of Ant-Man roles to Iron Man. Like, Ant-Man was the person who created Ultron with his own self issues, his own inferiority complex. He made Ultron. And they did that with Iron Man instead, because Iron Man needed someone to manage all of his robots and all of his time. So, not including certain heroes, has affected the timeline as we already know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they started things off kind of weird, because Captain America, if we were going by continuity, Captain America shouldn't even have shown up until after the first Avengers film.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was actually drowned into the sea by Baron Zemo, not Professor Xavier.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, that, and as far as that villain goes, I was hoping that they would do it eventually, and I was not disappointed with what we got, because I know it's going to...
I wasn't either, but...
I know it's going to lead up to something later, but there's a lot of Marvel movies in this entire universe. I think we're up to like 15 movies now. I lost count, honestly.
They definitely got a big head start on DC.
Oh, yes. Well, again, that's another topic for another time. But
yes, like we said, DC another day, but DC is stuck playing catch-up now.
But, with all these Marvel movies and the way they've really not established any real threats, and they're taking 11 years to establish Thanos, basically. And
I don't even know if it's like worth it anymore.
Well, it's happening.
I know, but still.
And like Infinity War is supposed to be a 2-part film.
Yes, because of how many people are involved.
With every character ever.
Yes.
Except for the Netflix people.
Yeah, I like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist.
And I understand they're gonna probably like do something in part 1 where it's half the people, and then part 2 is the other half.
Yeah, I think part 1 is supposed to be all the people on Earth, and part 2 is supposed to be Guardians of the Galaxy-esque.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to team up with everybody.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where I think the split's gonna come in.
Yeah, it is happening no matter what. I feel like I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, with all these other characters, I'm excited for them to finally establish Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, since she's
originally Captain Marvel was a guy.
Yeah. I think. Well, they teased like as an Easter egg that he was dead already, but I don't know if that's true. But,
well, he did die of cancer in the original comic book series.
Yeah, I mean, people have
because of radiation poisoning from the one of the gems or something. He was holding away from Thanos or something. Killed him.
People have speculated that he is dead already in that world, but I don't know if that's true or not. Captain Marvel is, I don't know, I think it's supposed to happen before Infinity War. So, and then we already got Black Panther. I think one of the best comic book depictions that we've gotten in the Marvel universe so far.
Unfortunately, he got pushed back because they got Spider-Man back. He was supposed to be right after.
True. He was supposed to come out this year originally.
Yes.
And when the Spider-Man deal happened, they pushed him back a year, which is fine because we want Spider-Man to be a part of this.
Right, but it was supposed to be Civil War and straight into Black Panther, but now we got Civil War, Spider-Man, Black Panther.
Yeah, and that's fine. That is completely okay because, like I said, we want Spider-Man to be a part of this.
I just, as much, like I said, as much as we established earlier that we're all excited for Spider-Man, hopefully the delay doesn't kill the build-up for Black Panther. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that they're going to do Black Panther alright. I mean, they already established one of his villains in Age of Ultron.
Yes,
so,
this is very true.
Claw's going to probably be the main villain.
Mm-hmm.
Panther, which is fine because he is Black Panther's main villain.
Yes. So this one they might get continuity right.
and we got to see a little bit of Wakanda at the end of Civil War.
Yeah. I
mean, just a little glimpse. So I'm excited about Black Panther also, but that's next
year. Yeah, that's next year.
I think that Marvel is... A lot of the movies that they've done in the past couple of years, aside from Iron Man 3, have actually been very good. Guardians of the Galaxy easily is like top 3 as far as like the movies that they've done.
And that was one of the more obscure comics that really not a lot of people knew about.
Well, because if you really think about it, and this has been established, I think. If Marvel owned the rights to Spider-Man or X-Men, there would be no Guardians of the Galaxy film. There would be no Ant-Man film. Because Spider-Man and X-Men are so popular that they could do so much more with them than they could ever do with Guardians or Ant-Man.
That's one of the reasons why I'm so upset that Hugh Jackman is retiring as Wolverine, because I'll never get to see Hugh Jackman Wolverine versus the Hulk in a standalone film.
Well, you're probably never going to see that anyway, because Fox is never going to let up.
Don't say never, because, they might have to give up Fantastic Four if they fuck that up again.
They won't do it, though. They refuse to do it. Marvel has been trying for so long to get Fantastic Four back. Yeah. And Fox will not let up at all. They won't even agree to a partnership like Sony did.
Yeah, because I know specifically the character that they're interested in Fantastic Four is Silver Surfer. More than I think they are the Fantastic Four themselves.
He plays a big part. Him and Galactus play a big part in Avengers.
Yes.
As a whole. So Silver Surfer is probably, if not probably, one of the most powerful superheroes ever.
Right. And I think that's what they want to do. Is if they can get Fantastic Four back, then they can do Galactus after Thanos. But we'll never know if they don't get it. If they don't get the rights back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because there's a lot of... I mean, they were able to make a deal with Fox, but unfortunately not the kind of deal we wanted. They did a character trade.
Right.
Originally, Negasonic Teenage Warhead was owned by Marvel, and Ego the Living Planet was owned by Fox. They actually did a character trade and worked that deal out. So Negasonic Teenage Warhead was able to be in Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Which was great.
Ego the Living Planet is going to be Star-Lord's dad in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Which is obviously not canon, but nothing is canon in Marvel.
No. But that's why I'm saying, like, with them actually using Black Panther's real arch enemy, that continuity might be intact.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for that because everything we got from Black Panther and Civil War, loved it.
Yeah.
Nothing bad to say about Black Panther in that film.
Can't do it.
Really, I have nothing bad to say about that movie at all. Civil War was great. But I'm hoping that Fox would let up on Fantastic Four because, like I said before, a lot of their villains, a lot of villains that are Avenger villains were Fantastic Four villains first. So, because of that reason, The Avengers can't fight them. That's why we can get the Skrulls.
Yeah.
Okay? Or villain. So they went with the Chitauri, completely made up alien race.
Yeah.
Because they had to.
Of course.
I mean, one of the best storylines they ever did was when the Skrulls infiltrated the Avengers. If they were able to do that in film, that would be amazing.
Right. But
I would love to see that.
And that's what Marvel is hoping for. Marvel's hoping to get all their properties back and be a united whole, so that way we can get correct continuity and we can see things that fans have been, ranting about online.
If they ever did a complete universe reboot and were able to work out those deals, I would hope that it would be more continuity, but I don't think they're ever going to start it over. I think they're just going to keep continuing it.
They would have to do something drastic where, like, one of the supervillains, like, creates a black hole and, or they just completely just wipe the slate clean and say, you know what, we're going to go with a different universe.
Well, they might do that down the line, but not anytime soon.
We'll see. Like I said,
they do New Day, but that's
New Day, maybe.
Yeah, who knows what they're gonna like we've been saying, we don't really know what the plan is after Thanos. We're just throwing out ideas that we would like to see.
Of course. I would love to see Hulk versus Wolverine.
And most of them, and like I was gonna say, most of them we can't because of Fox.
Of course. Fox ruins hopes and dreams.
Yeah, Fox does do that.
Alright.
Yeah,
we're near the end. Do you want to... I'll shout one more question, I guess. We'll wrap this up.
Alright.
Favorite hero and favorite villain?
Alright. For me, it's always going to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man, as far as I can remember, is the first hero I fell in love with. That, like I said, that animated show from the 90s on Fox Kids. I remember waking up just to see that show on Saturdays. And as far as villains go, and like all of Marvel, I would have to say Doctor Doom. I wish that, like we were saying before, I wish that the Avengers could fight. I wish the Avengers could fight him because he is probably the best villain that the Avengers ever fought. And just everything that he stands for as a villain would be perfect for the Marvel Universe. I've always just loved him as a character. I always thought he was the best Marvel villain as far as I'm concerned. So, Hicks, what about you?
I've always been a great big fan of Hulk as a superhero / supervillain because he's played both roles in the comics. The dude, like I said, I brought it up before, the comparison of Bruce Banner and the Hulk versus Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You get that duality of the character, the person trying to keep the beast inside versus when the beast finally gets out, the big brawl that ensues. And
well, the only thing with the comics with the Hulk, though, I want to point out, was that the show with Luke Ferrigno was actually really close to the comics more than any other movie. Because he was always on the run.
Yeah.
He always had to try and disguise himself and try and get a control of systems.
They made a mistake.
He wasn't able to.
They made a mistake in the continuity right away in Avengers where he's like, "Oh, I'm always angry."
Yeah.
Basically saying, "Oh, I knew how to control it all the time. What are you talking about? Don't forget about what happened in 2008. That doesn't exist."
I mean, that was a nice little one-liner just to give Bruce Banner some FaceTime. And I get what you're saying. It does damage the character a little bit.
See, the problem with that is it was a good line. It was dumb.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
I think Ed Norton would be the best Bruce Banner as well.
And the problem was that he wanted Marvel to do more with the Hulk, and they couldn't come to terms, so Ed Norton left. So now we have I don't even remember. Mark Ruffalo.
Speaking
Yes,
of good.
Mark Ruffalo playing the Hulk. But I'm gonna. All right, I've said enough about the Hulk. I would like to see a Planet Hulk movie. I did like the animated one. It's just something different, out of the ordinary. But for favorite Marvel villain, I have to go Magneto. He's shows like the oppression of the mutants and all that, and wanting to lash out and get revenge, and he causes pretty much most of the war. So for favorite villain, I'm going to go Magneto, and then I'm going to lead it over to Barry to tell us his favorite villain and hero.
His favorite hero would be Spider-Man as well. He was my first I ever watched as a kid, and I slowly got more books on him, trying to read more on him and find different villains. But at the same time, I was curious about other shows and villains, but none really stuck out as much as Spider-Man did. And for villain, I'm gonna have to go with the Green Goblin.
Ooh, he's doing favorite. He's doing the same line.
Yes. His sadisticness when he first appeared in the comics in, I believe, issue number 6, as he was in the background scenes, and he slowly, like how they did what they should do in movies or in shows, which I would wish they would do with Spider-Man, because there's so much more in depth about Spider-Man you'll never ever see in a movie.
Of course.
That he was always in the background trying to scheme something with the mob, try to gain more power within his company as Norman Osborn. And at first he didn't know he was the Goblin.
Right.
Until like somehow, in some way, it like clicked that in both as Norman and Green Goblin they were after the same thing.
How did you like?
Finally pieced together.
How did you like his portrayal in the first Spider-Man movie with the Tobey Maguire series?
It
you think they did it
close, to be honest, but I still fucking love Willem Dafoe. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, you can't. He's a great actor.
So much that you can do as far as like with the Green Goblin. Like the Green Goblin plays a big factor in the evolution of Peter Parker as a person.
Yes.
And
so
like,
they kind of did that with it in the movie, but at the same time they messed it a little bit.
Well, because in the movie they in the Tobey movie they messed it up because when came later.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
Right.
She wasn't it at all.
And that's what we see the problem with being a 2.5 hour movie tops versus a full-length series on Netflix or Hulu is you have time to develop. You have time to let Green Goblin play his mind games and turn Peter Parker into what he wants him to be.
It was so fucking good, but yeah, I love Willem Dafoe. If they were ever to do a series, which I probably won't though because there's not enough money.
Spider-Man is too
big.
Unfortunately, even though that would probably work, Spider-Man is too big of a character to
Absolutely.
be like, let's put him in a show.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we're never going to see a Batman live-action show. The same reason.
Right.
It's too big.
Yeah.
Too popular.
Too popular. Yeah. William Dafoe will always be the Green Goblin in my eyes. There is no one else who can ever play as good as he did.
Okay.
We shall see in the future, I think.
Well, they probably will make another Green Goblin, but I don't know who. But it won't beat William Dafoe, not by a shot. Well, that's the way he got into it was almost like Heath Ledger getting into the Joker.
Or like, who's going to be the next Wolverine after Hugh Jackman's done? It's going to be like...
A lot of people's vote is Tom Hardy.
Yeah, a lot of people online have made the vote for Tom Hardy. And I also saw on a different cross-brand, a lot of people would say that Willem Dafoe would make a great Joker.
Yeah.
But DC's another episode. We're going to close this one off.
Yeah, well, we will discuss more stuff about superheroes in the future, I'm sure.
Of course.
But for now,
we're gonna
call it the show here. As I say every show, like, share, and subscribe. follow the show on Twitter at MVD_podcast. You can get the link to our Facebook page on Twitter. And that is it. I am Mike Charlotte. With me as always, Sean Hicks, Sean Barry. And that'll do it for this week.
All right. Well, thank you guys for stopping by.